Tonight, President Biden back in South Carolina.
I heard about this place.
His first stop, a black-owned barber shop in downtown Columbia. In re-election mode with his focus on young and black voters whose support has been slipping.
With the Palestinian-Israel war going on, I think my view personally has shifted on Biden.
Gen Z, we want to see things getting done and not just hearing about pro-America, pro-freedom, and pro-democracy.
So Joe Biden, like all Democrats do, when it's time for them to get the black vote, they show up and do photo ops at barbershops and at black churches. Latest example, Joe Biden was in South Carolina this past weekend. And this is what Democrats do. They go to these places because they want to show their face, to show that they are there to support these black businesses or these black institutions. Well, Joe Biden, that's not going to work this time. All this stuff you just did in South Carolina will not work when it comes to black people in this election.
Tonight, President Biden back in South Carolina.
I heard about this place.
His first stop, a black-owned barber shop in downtown Columbia. In re-election mode with his focus on young and black voters whose support has been slipping.
With the Palestinian-Israel war going on, I think my view personally has shifted on Biden.
Gen Z, we want to see things getting done and not just hearing about pro-America, pro-freedom, and pro-democracy.
How's everybody?
16-term Congressman Jim Clyburn leading the charge for Biden here, just as he did 4 years ago.
There's no better way for good people to break their silence than to march to the ballot boxes.
An NBC News survey in November showed 61% of black voters would choose Biden over a Republican. In 2020, NBC News exit polls showed Biden won 87% of the black vote.
What does he need to do to make people feel like he's done a good job?
I think he's done a good job, and that's what we've got to do, is get people to see that.
Clyburn again making the case for Biden in a state where Clyburn is revered, a leading voice in black communities for decades. He calls himself President Biden's validator.
That's what we've got to do between now and November. Tell people what it is that we have done. Tell them what the rescue plan is all about. Tell them what the infrastructure bill is all about.
And you hear Jim Clyburn right there. I tell you, boy, these Congressional Black Caucus folks, these old head black people that do nothing for black folks, but yet claim to represent black people are the worst. Jim Clyburn is just like the rest of them. Jim Clyburn does what his liberal puppet masters want him to do. Because if Jim Clyburn really was concerned about what goes on in those communities, his community wouldn't be so poor. If Jim Clyburn was really concerned about the elevation of black people in his district, then he wouldn't treat his black people like this.
He told you, you're not getting it. What kind of representation is that for black folks to have? But the reason why he's so arrogant is because the majority of you black folks in America, and definitely South Carolina, keep sending him back. Now, he's staying on message with this. Let's fast forward to 2022. And he was at his annual fish fry that he normally have, and you have black people having all the health problems that we have, and yet when you give black folks something, you're going to give them some fried food. Fine. He has his annual fish fry. All the Democrats come out. All the people come out to eat some more fried food. I heard this dry. Don't taste too good at all. So this particular clip that we're going to play here, you know, it's courtesy of what we saw posted from the Black Channel. Shout out to them. But let's go ahead and roll that one.
I'm doing well. Listen, but I gotta go. But I appreciate the fish fry and everything. I did want to ask though. Reparations is a big thing.
Reparations is big with me. I'm not the one doing the bill. I'm not the one doing the bill.
Now you see how Jim Clyburn talks to his constituents, the people that he represents. He works for them. But that man is so arrogant. He's been up there for so long. He's been empowered by the people behind him, the white liberal puppet masters, that he can speak to his constituency just like that, regardless of the question that they're asking you. But you speak to them just like that. And he's the one that Joe Biden is partnering with. So that should make you think about, why is it that Joe Biden thinks he's going to get the black vote? Oh, he can show up at a black church and say some stuff like this.
The power, as I was saying, right outside before he invited me in. That's what the black church has done for black Americans imagine what would have happened if there had been no black church all this period of darkness. Well, you give us a mountaintop, you give us a promised land, you give us a dream and a faith that we shall overcome, we can overcome. And you push us toward a more perfect union, you really do. To bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice together. And what a gift to the nation of the world you've been.
That's what I mean. That's pandering. Talking about how the black church has been transformational. Yeah, the black church has been transformational for the black community because it was faith in Jesus Christ that sustained our ancestors, our forefathers, through the trauma that they experienced through actual slavery, through actual segregation, through actual discrimination. The real stuff. Not this fake stuff that people like Joe Biden and the Democratic Party and the Marxists want to continue to promulgate and propagate and perpetuate and continue to propagandize Americans, thinking that there is a threat of white supremacy. Well, the real white supremacy are these Democrats that go into the black community, pander to them, and never do anything for them. We are done with your fish fries. We are done with you coming to our barbershop and not staying. We're done with you coming to these black institutions and not doing anything for the black community. I don't hear Joe Biden talking anything about educational opportunities. I don't hear him talking about school choice. The majority of black people want to get out of these failing schools. I don't hear him talking about economic opportunity. Instead of talking about reparations, how about talking about real opportunity zones for black folks? How about giving black people tax-free opportunities because of what was denied to our forefathers when they were emancipated? How about that? How about providing real nutritional options in the black community instead of having fried chicken locations and liquor stores on every corner in the black community? How about talking about providing real solutions when it comes to solving crime in the black community? How about that, Joe Biden? Instead of trying to give money to rich people who took out these loans for student loans, how about using that money and pouring it back into the black community? How about that? But nah, people don't want to talk about that. These Democrats don't want to talk about that because it behooves them to keep black people in a permanent serfdom, in a permanent position so they can serve and always get their vote. If black folks ever tap into the faith of their forefathers, ever realize who they were in Christ, and not depend upon these people like Jim Clyburn and Joe Biden, the community will be better off. That's why I have this channel. That's why we're talking about this stuff. Because enough is enough. Not this time, Joe Biden. You think that we're victims. Jim Clyburn, you think your people that are in your district, the people that you work for, you think that they're victims. No, we're not victims. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. And it's sad to see that they are using the same old tactic thinking it's going to work. Nah, bro. It ain't going to work this time, Joe Biden. That ship has sailed. You got too many people my age and younger who have seen what has happened to the black community. They have put all their eggs in one basket. That day is over.